since I'm not wearing glasses, this thing I can't always see.
You are live.
I am live.
You are live.
By the gods, the TV isn't on, Camera Mandy. This thing
is it not on? Again. I turned it on.
Gracious, Camera Mandy.
Well, let me figure out why. Hold on.
But now she's going to walk in front of the camera. So this is what I'm saying, my friends. We definitely have like the lowest budget production in the internet. Okay, that's probably not true. I think we, Camera Mandy, we could do Viva La Dirt League. We could do that stuff.
What's Viva La Dirt League?
You've never seen Viva La Dirt League? How many people in the chat know what I'm speaking of? Viva La Dirt League. They are magnificent. They do these wonderful little goofy...
Oh, I'm sure I've seen, if they're skits, I'm sure I've seen their skits.
Dungeons and Dragons type skits.
Yeah.
And they have quest givers that have little exclamation points above, and it's all done with human beings.
I don't need to add that to my list of things that we have to do.
This is your chance to do cinematography. Yes, we could make little movies.
We will hire someone to do the cinematography.
With what money?
I know, exactly. Welcome, everyone, to Goo Morning, Zyathé.
How come you're not showing yourself? There you are with no hat.
Shoot.
Did you almost say the S word?
No, I didn't.
Oh, fortunately, you have a hat.
Sorry. So here's the deal. It's our first time back in... I came into the studio this morning. I'm trying to figure out where the front of my hat is.
It's fine.
There we go. I came back into the studio this morning and why does this feel so new again? And then I realized, oh my goodness, it's been, and there's a little flicker on my camera that I still haven't fixed yet.
I saw that come.
Yeah. And so, I think it's been 5 weeks.
Well, we would, Ms. Goo and I were in the Blue Shine Archipelago. Excuse me, I got something in my eye right there. Ms. Goo and I were in the Blue Shine Archipelago for some, nigh on 2 weeks.
I know, and I was
searching for the fabled treasure of Boo Boo.
So we've been remote for a while. So anyway, I got back in and I'm like, why is my studio all? Sorry, I'm just trying to get my
Camera Mandy is fine.
Anyway, welcome to Goo Morning, Zyathé.
I hope somebody's watching this morning.
We have a few people.
All right. A few people.
Chelsea says, to be fair, it's a gooey green flicker. So at least it's on theme.
Chelsea, very observant and marvelous. I agree with that completely.
Okay. Anyway, God, we have got to get focused. Okay. Right. So anyway, we have a great episode. We're going to be talking about The Fifth Element, and hopefully everyone's watched it or has watched it in the past and has thoughts and feelings on it, and we're going to do a little breakdown of that.
I hope everybody's excited about this. We had pretty good energy about it in the Gooey.
I feel like we did.
We're like, let's do this, right? And we are going to focus primarily on fantastical science fiction and fantasy. That's where we're going to focus. We're not going to do things like, the Notebook.
Let's break down the Notebook as a D&D campaign.
So we're not doing the Notebook, Mandy.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, so but what we're really excited about is all the audience interaction and all the opinions. But first, let's do social media.
What if there's not a lot of audience interaction?
Then this will be a one-time thing.
We'll only do it once.
We'll do it one time.
Listen, Corbin Dallas. I got to give a little credit to Corbin Dallas.
Why?
Because I watched it last night again. It's been a while. He's good. Bruce Willis did a great job with that character.
I think every actor really committed to their role.
No, that's truly. In fact, one of the questions I want to ask the chat, which people can think about, is not who is your favorite actor, right, in the whole thing. Who was your favorite person who was not one of the primary actors? I want to ask that question. Yes, I don't. And I said this, Camera Mandy. Heather put this up. Totally hilarious. But I said, why aren't they slaughtering cheese?
I think it's pretty hilarious.
Yes, it's really, really good. There's some great comments too, by the way. There's some folks that did some great comments on this.
I didn't even cut out the caption though. What was I doing this morning?
I know, Camera Mandy. But it's cute.
It is cute.
Wallace and Gromit, one of the classics. Maybe we should review Wallace and Gromit one of these days.
Oh, I mean, isn't that a show? Is it a movie?
They had a movie. Did they do a movie, chat? Everybody out there?
Wait, is it a high sci-fi fantasy
It's definitely
movie?
On the edge of fantasy. It's on the edge of fantasy. We could do Dune here. Dune would be perfect.
Okay.
Right? But I don't know that we'd want to do what was the one with The Martian.
Oh, The Martian's such a good movie.
It's a great movie,
but it's not a campaign. It's a solo. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could maybe, but
yes, he's growing lots of things in Mars. Fortunately, he was a botanist.
Yeah,
right? That's what pretty much saved him, right?
Was his ability potatoes.
As a botanist.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. Let's get through this. Only you can prevent dungeon fires. Kill the wizard first.
I have seen this one before. But
I have
like
not.
It. You've
Yeah.
never seen it?
No.
Yes. It's been around. It's pretty good. Yes.
Mhm.
Very, very good. Yes. We like that one. And Hans, thank you.
John Carter. Man, I haven't.
Oh, John Carter.
That movie.
Listen, I want to speak about John Carter because I'd love to do it.
Okay.
Because John Carter got
I'm gonna take some
nailed
notes.
by the the experts. It got nailed by the experts.
Yeah, people they hated it. Or the critics.
Ms. Goo and I watched that movie and we thought it was spectacular. Everyone that I knew who watched that movie thought it was spectacular. And we were so disappointed that they didn't make the sequel because it got panned so much by the experts. But almost everyone that I know said, dude, I love John Carter. I was excited to see the sequel. And then all the people started saying how terrible it was and blah, blah, blah. And that was too bad.
Okay, what was the other movie that you mentioned? Like
The Martian.
No, the one before. Oh, Dune.
Dune.
And Adam would be so excited because I have not watched Dune. He's read all the books and he loves the
I'm
movies.
really speaking about the new Dune. The first Dune that they did was just okay.
Yeah, that's the one that Adam really wants me to watch. He keeps being like, let's do movie
He wants
night.
you to watch the original?
No, the new one.
Oh, the new one is.
He's obsessed with the new one.
I'm interested to see what the chat thinks, but I think the new Dune was so well done. It was like really, really, really well done. The first one was kind of hokey and goofy. There was some good moments in it, but it was just not. I think there was casting issues. There was a number of things that I didn't like about the first Dune. I mean, they tried. They gave it their. It's kind of like Bashki's marvelous Lord of the Rings, right? They gave it a great effort. They had wonderful artworks and all of that kind of stuff. It just, for some reason, it just didn't play as well as it should have. And I don't know why that is, because I thought we had a good chance of getting Bashki's second version of, what I'm talking about, the original animated one.
Oh, I've seen that like a way long time ago.
Spectacular. Yeah. But then it didn't catch enough traction, so they never made the second one. Oh, it's just too bad.
People are saying Sting.
Oh, Sting. Yes.
Was Sting in it?
Yeah, Sting was in the original one. Right? Not right. I'm right, chat. I'm not mixing those up, right? Sting was in the original one, and he was Fade. Yes. Very handsome. They oiled him up too. They made him oily.
Naturally. You should. Okay.
I tried to get oily when I was in the Blue Shine Archipelago, cameraman.
No,
it didn't work out.
Yeah. Maybe I'll Fabio.
Maybe it was sweaty. Yes, what? Florida Man.
I love the whole idea of Florida Man. I think that is hilarious. So Florida Man banned from aquarium after attempting to baptize octopus in the name of the deep ones.
Witnesses say he spoke in tongues and tried to anoint the water with monster energy.
This has to be fake, yeah?
Of course it's fake.
Okay.
By the gods.
Well, I don't know. It's Florida. It could be.
But I had not seen this. I gather it got a lot of comments from when I saw it come up, and I had not seen it before, so I don't know if it's new or old. And there were credits that were missing, but Ron posted it, and I happened to see it with Ron's post, and I just figured I'd give it a little share because it was funny.
Scottish Jeff says, "I heard my favorite musician's name, Sting. What's up?"
Roxanne. We were talking about.
Here's the thing: is the
we were
movie,
talking about oily Sting.
The Flix Club is going to be it's just going to be our off the rails episode where we just.
Okay, just chat real quick. Just it's okay to say at the end. We didn't like this.
We didn't like it.
We don't want to do this. Let's stop doing this and let's go back to all the other stupid stuff we were doing.
We'll listen.
But listen, I'm serious about this. We're going to reprise the hunt for the treasure of Boo Boo Bon.
What the heck are you even doing?
The problem is you did not pay attention.
I did not. And if I wasn't paying enough attention, then that probably means most other people did not know what the heck was going on.
You were out of town doing Disney. You weren't paying attention to anything. You made no
We've
posts.
literally been on the stream together talking about this.
Yes,
this is not coherent.
It will be coherent. We'll fix it.
Okay.
And we'll put it out in the newsletter and we'll have some fun with it. All that stuff. Anyway. So yes, this was funny. Well done, Alphinius and Ron.
God.
Thank you, Alphinius, for posting these marvelous
I want to
things.
know how many people in the chat even know what the search for the Boo Boo Bon is.
I think they know.
Okay.
Because there's a treasure and they get a chance to win. That's what makes anybody interested. All the rest of it is just like, well, whatever, Alphinius.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Got to give David a little love for this one.
Yeah, he looks great.
But Cameramendi.
What?
This is very important.
What?
When Ms. Goo and I were in the Blue Shine Archipelago,
okay,
we learned that there was a secret sign. Yes, it is this, Cameramendi. Look, this is the secret sign. And you say the magic words, Ha'ang Lu'uz, Yes, Ha'ang Lu'uz. And I noted in this image that David was making the secret sign. So now I have suspicions.
Okay. Sounds
Mhm.
good.
Remember, Ha'ang Lu'uz. Yes, keep that in your minds, my friends.
mhm. Paul says, I don't like vowels. You should do a show without them.
E.
No, that without vowels.
Oh, without vowels. Oh, I did it. I can't do that.
Entertainment at its finest, y'all.
Sounds terrible. All right, let's keep going. Nice
Okay.
job, David. Well
Yes.
done. Excellent shirt. Isn't that great? So in the environs, there is
This looks like someone's, like, what do you call it when you do your drugs and you go off into psychedelic?
When you're LSDing.
Yes, like this looks like somebody's drug dream, whatever that's called.
So,
yeah.
So the Fae, in the environs, there is a place called Mythendel, which is up in the canyons of the Mithril Mountains. And Mythendel has a very interesting location, which I think people are going to love. It's very interesting. It's got great lore behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are Fae there. And we wanted to just do an artwork called The Gathering of Fae. And we took some of our original Fae creatures that we, of course, have crafted, right? The various ones that are sort of ours. And then we took others that are sort of in the
like the Mad Hatter.
He's not the Mad Hatter. He's a leprechaun. The only thing that I wanted to give Benjo crap about is I think he should have had a different coloration to his skin. But he made him that color, and Benjo did a wonderful job with this. And so I didn't push him. But I thought that is a leprechaun. That is what that is.
Kay Jadora is asking for a Welsh episode.
It would be a marvelous thing to do that, wouldn't you think, Camera Monday? We could be drinking a little whiskey and talking about the Welsh.
We'll have Adam drive us in that day.
He could bring us, of course, and drive us home. Because
yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
I'll be liking it.
I don't know how to do Welsh accent.
I could play. Matthew McGillen is truly more inspired by the Irish, right? So he's a little more inspired by that, but they're close enough, right? The brogues are close enough. And all of that stuff. Now the Welsh people would say, "Shut up, Alphinius," and the Irish people would say, "Shut up, Alphinius," but it's darn close.
Okay.
And everybody who
you all want a whole episode
who hears
of
my
this.
Alphinius accent, who's actually from England, says your accent is terrible, right?
Well, it's not really an English accent.
It's sort of an accent.
Uh-huh. Okay.
This was great.
The home brew.
Express Goo, anyone?
Let's see here. What do we got? Tiny ooze.
Switch to yourself, Camera Mandy, so I can blow my nose.
Oh my gosh.
Thank God
I'm going to mute you.
Yes, mute me.
I muted myself. There we go. I muted the wrong person. Are you blowing your nose? Okay. Well, I don't have much to say about this. I'm trying to read the stats on it. I mean, I know that it's a coffee goo.
You have not been all over the Facebook of late.
I just didn't like
Disney adventures.
I didn't. What are you talking? I have posted so much. I feel like I'm over. I just muted us both accidentally. But yeah, it is pretty cute.
Yes, if you haven't had a chance to look at the.
But the thing is, if you were to swallow it, if you were to drink it,
it eats you from the
inside out. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Is that what just coffee just does?
No, coffee is coffee. You know, there are health benefits to coffee.
I don't know. You say that, but I got gastritis. So
you got who?
Gastritis.
Yes, some people it is.
But that's it. I still drink my 3 cups a day.
Some people get sick from eating mushrooms, and other people love them. Some people don't like fish, and some people get sick from eating fish, and some people think fish is magnificent.
I'm still on the screen, unfortunately. There you go. There you are.
Listen, cameraman. This is what you have to understand that there's some flexibility in this. Yes, some people coffee is probably not the best thing for them.
They have to drink it anyway.
But for someone like me, I love a good cup of coffee, cameraman. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm very excited for this encounter. This, I bet, like genuinely, this would like freak me out. Like,
so what is wonderful, cameraman?
Yeah.
This is, of course, Madness in Genzicon.
Nice.
Okay.
So see, we should put this as like our promo image for Madness in Genzicon.
You're totally welcome. I've got some great images.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Kishore did some great work. Benjo did some great work. I mean, we've got some.
Oh, by the way, Madness in Genzicon is our new adventure. Our new for Gen Con. Yes.
But it takes place. This is the fun thing about it. It takes place in the sewers of the Gloom Port, which of course connect to the ocean, right? In the bay and all of that kind of stuff. And things can sneak in. And of course, that's how you end up with a shark in the sewers.
Didn't Terra and Gensicon also take place in the sewers of?
To some degree, but there was a little bit of it. This is much more, right?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm very excited. This looks like fun. See, this is what we should have on our t-shirts. Madness and Gensicon.
Yes, that would be good.
I'll send that to Lawrence.
See what he thinks.
I like that idea.
Yes.
Lawrence is all about merch. He keeps trying to get me to do more merch. But this one I feel like would be really cool, like as a advertising thing. Okay, anyway. I thought this was funny.
Yeah, Randy put this up.
Yeah.
And that was just hilarious. And apparently these are real. Because at first I asked him, I said, Randy, is this, AI or is this some, Photoshopped thing or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, this is actually there in I believe it's the Netherlands.
Yeah,
right?
where they actually
Finland
had
I can't remember because you cut it all off, so I can't read it. But I can't remember where it was. But he says, yes, actually, some Nordic country. It's a Viking. Arr.
Love it.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. This made me laugh.
It made me laugh too.
And there were comments that were even better. Like, if the wizard has to use this, your party's in deep trouble.
Okay, I have a terrible question to ask that everyone in the chat is going to be like, Mandy, you don't know this. Do wands or do wizards in D&D have to have wands?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so because I couldn't remember.
They can use them. They can use
Adam plays all the spellcasters. But wait, do you have to have some kind of like magical?
No, there's a thing called the focus that was kind of around for a while, but I don't think it's around in 5e anymore. It's all if it is, I don't play it at my table.
Okay.
But I do play sometimes a little bit of material components, right? Only with the super spells, because otherwise it just gets dumb. You're spending so much time looking for, 4-leaf clovers or whatever, right? So
Adam found a 4-leaf clover while we were camping.
Wow.
I'm just saying, we have it. It's drying in the pages of a book.
Mandy, this just goes to show how lucky you are to have encountered me in your life.
Oh, I thought you were going to say with Adam, but...
Oh, you're lucky with Adam. I mean, you're really lucky with Adam. Yeah, the knuckle wand. I kind of like the knuckle wand because you kind of get a double.
I feel like the knuckle wand would like help you hold onto your wand in the middle of combat when you're being flung around.
You could. And they didn't do a switchblade wand, which I think would be very cool, right? You push the little button and the wand goes. That would be cool. Anyway, very good, Adam.
Okay, so this is a video, and I couldn't snip the video, but I loved it. It's like this little animation of a cube that just moves across the room, and David did that. And
yes, well, David said he wanted to fart around a little bit and make this, and he made this cute little cube cruising along. And what it reminded me, of course, of, and all you old people in the chat, I want all of you to weigh in if you know this. Do you remember the game Wizardry? Yes, which was on like the earliest computers. It was one of the first computer games that was not text-based. Wizardry. If anybody in the chat remembers it. And all it was green squares. You would progress through the dungeon with green squares. And whenever you encountered something, it was just text-based. But you actually had sort of a thing that you moved through. Because primarily before that, the only thing they really had was like Zork. Do you remember hearing about Zork?
I know who Zorg is.
No, Zork.
But no, I don't know Zork. Yeah.
So Zork was a fully text-based computer game that I actually played when I was a kid at the Lawrence Hall of Science in the University of California, Berkeley. And it was on their super mainframe. And all of us kids were in computer camp. And we got to play Zork, which nobody had personal computers when I was a child, when I was young, very young. Mm-hmm. And we got to play on their super mainframe. And everything was teletyped. It was, we've come a long way, Cameron.
Very nice.
Anyway, David, nice work.
We got some comments. I feel called out with the old comment. I'm 56 3/4.
Who said that?
Scottish Jeff.
Scottish Jeff. Hello, my friend.
Raw Cure 81. I remember games you load from cassettes.
Oh, yes. Cassette games. Crazy.
Porthalis. Never played Zork, but did play some Muds in my time.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
College roommate flunked out due to addiction to Muds, says Andy.
That's amazing.
What was Muds in my time?
So Muds,
and why would someone get addicted to it?
It was just like any computer game, right? But again, when you think about it, cameraman, you don't have the same paradigm, right? So you don't, it's the same kind of thing that any computer game uses, right? It uses positive reinforcement and various things that you do, and you continue forward, and
like gambling.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's why you get addicted to it. Right?
Yeah.
Like I got addicted to World of Warcraft.
And now they have it on cell phones. So isn't that great?
Yes. I'm addicted to Age of Z Origins right now. It's costing me more money than I want it to cost me.
How's your zombie horde doing?
It.
Okay, good.
But I cannot keep up with the. So anybody who knows what I'm talking about, search a certain individual called Abu Khalad in Nation 910. This is one of the most powerful persons in the Age of Z Origins entire universe. And I cannot imagine how much money he has spent to be that person.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Interesting for people who are actually interested. Does anybody even know what I'm talking about with Age of Z Origins?
I don't know. We're still talking about MUDs.
All right. Let's continue
MUDs were
on.
multi-user dungeons. Earliest implementation of the MMORPG.
MMORPG.
How do you say that as like
a massive multiplayer
Sorry, guys, we suck.
I can't remember.
Okay, anyway.
It's a lot of people playing together at the same time.
That is fun. That would be fun, especially like when it was first coming out.
Yes. And again, you didn't have a paradigm of all the stuff we enjoy, right? I thought this was great too. Yes. Heather.
Vast ye. Sorry, you do the voices because you
vast ye lily-livered bilge rat. I'll make you walk the plank, you scallywag. And so this is why they commandeered the ships, was so they could play pirates.
The dragons.
Yes, the dragons.
Yes. I actually like a campaign where the dragons are more fun.
Oh, like you don't want them to be evil?
No, they can be evil, but it's fun if they're evil and fun.
Well, there's
you can be evil and snarky.
There's good dragons and bad dragons. The issue in Zyathé, of course, is that the dragons are feeling a little infringed upon. Both the good ones and the bad ones. Yes, because the hominids are spreading around the world like a plague. Yeah, okay, here we go. Whit, cheers to you.
Yes. Community member of the week this week is Whitney Wilcox, who is our EO queen and just works really hard behind the scenes to get everything to where we are when we get at Gen Con.
And a magnificent veterinarian. If
yes.
anybody needs a vet and they live nearby.
In Texas.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we love you, Whit. I don't even know if she's seen this yet. I need to send it over to her.
You don't think she knows? Is she in the chat? Whit, you in the chat?
I don't think so. I'll just text her.
Yeah.
So,
but you put it up in the den. Yes,
I haven't put it up in the den yet.
Oh, so this is first announcement.
Well, I mean, it went out in the newsletter yesterday.
Oh, it did. So she might have seen it in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's right. I saw it when Eric sent it.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, Whit, you are marvelous. And so many. This is the thing. This is why we're doing this. It was a great idea by the team because we have something that is very, very special with our community. And I love it. And we're going to keep showcasing our marvelous folks who put in their time and effort and love the Goo and have been around and make it better for so many others. Because that's what they really do. Right? It's not just making it better for us, cameramen. It's making it better for so many. By the way, I look kind of clean today again, cameraman. Do you notice this?
Did you get shaved?
I got a cleanup, right? Which is unusual for me.
Okay.
Right? Usually I let it get out of control. I look like Einstein, and that's when Ms. Goo calls me a ragamuffin.
Uh-huh.
But this time I went and got a cleanup. And Ms. Goo was like, I think you should do that always.
I agree.
Anyway.
Okay. I am going to switch over to Gen Con super quickly. Speaking of
yes, that's exciting.
Okay. So in here.
Switch to you too, cameraman.
I don't have one with me and the computer, so it's just going to be you.
Cameraman.
You're just going to have to deal with it. Okay. So I just wanted to show this post that shows all of our TTRPG events that are happening in our game room. We are running games all weekend long. All of our premium stuff is out now, but we still have plenty of amazing games that are going to be happening in our game room. So I want to make sure that we get spotlighted.
We have seen movement on the sales again, right? So even though we have not seen as much movement as like last year, we were sold out almost everything, right?
It is interesting. I am actually kind of curious to know if it's like a 5e thing. Like I wonder if more people are just not playing 5e.
I'm not sure that's the case.
No.
Because it's certainly not just us, because we looked at others.
Yeah,
right?
we've seen it across the board.
I think it's Wizards is coming, and I think there's a lot more games.
Yeah, maybe.
I have not looked to see how many games year over year there are, but I think there's a lot more games.
Anyway, it'll be fine. I'm going to keep posting. Yeah.
This just gives some people. We had a lot of people, this, that who there's a lot of people who do wait. They don't sign up, right, and they wait sort of till the end, and then they don't get the great picks. This year they're gonna. Troll Lord's got games, right? We got games. Others have games, and that's nice because it looks like Gen Con's going to have its biggest attendance ever.
You think so?
That's what I'm hearing.
Okay,
we'll see. Maybe it's down. That would be very interesting.
Well, last year was their biggest attendance ever, and a lot of people said that it was too full. So
so maybe some people are staying away.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Sorry, I moved back to the Twitch channel because I was going to read commentary.
That was kind of weird, Cameron. That was.
I know. I went into Inception.
Infinite loop thing that was going right there. Yes, the Inception thing. It was very, very weird.
So, yeah, people are looking for alternatives to D&D 5e. Paul asked, "What's the new Gensicon mod?" It is Madness in Gensicon,
and that goes, Paul. That goes with the plagued. Black tiger shark that was in the sewers. That was one of the images from that adventure.
Yeah.
Terry's been working very hard on that.
I'm very excited for it. Okay. Are we ready to discuss the fifth element?
Are you ready, chat, to discuss? Did you take any pictures? Did you clip any pictures?
No, I meant to, but this morning.
Just start clipping.
I'm just going to show Google. I have the desktop.
I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to Google, and then we'll show
I
characters.
don't think we're getting a cease and desist. This is a true discussion of the movie itself.
Well,
if we get a cease and desist, it's okay, but I don't think we're getting one.
Okay.
We're actually promoting it. I don't think anybody here is going to totally dump on the movie. It's actually a pretty good movie from most people's point of view. So I can't imagine them being upset with us in any way, shape, or
form. Okay, the fifth element.
Yes, so now we are Googling. All right, so first of all, in the chat, did pretty much everybody get a chance to review it recently, or have you watched it recently enough that you could actually have an intelligent conversation about this? And again, at the end of it, if you think this was stupid, you need to tell us, right?
Yeah.
So,
we do not commit to ideas that people aren't interested
Now, can you put yourself up there, cameraman, with me?
Yes, hold on. I'm currently in the process.
There she is.
Of trying to pull up, because if we're going to show.
Because you're so prepared, cameraman.
You know what? I did watch the movie, and I feel like.
Did you have popcorn?
We were going to make popcorn, but we got so sucked into the movie that we did not.
So Ms. Goo and I went out last night, and there's down at University Village. I almost took a picture and put it up in the thing because it was so good. There's a jazz band called Zyathé that has been together for like 40 years, and they're not a major band. Nobody really, you wouldn't really know them unless you kind of know Colorado and in a few areas around here. And they do travel a little bit, but they're not, sort of these higher tier bands, right? And every year they get invited to play on Friday nights at the University Village little tiny amphitheater that they have there. And just a few hundred people come typically, but Zyathé always fills the place because they really have nice jazz. It's really, really nice jazz music. So Ms. Goo and I went to one of our favorite restaurants here in town called Ambly. And then after we went to Ambly, we went over and sat and listened to the music. And it was just a marvelous night. And then when we came home, we watched The Fifth Element until Ms. Goo fell asleep.
Oh, okay. But you stayed awake.
I battled through, Cameron.
Okay.
I had another beer.
Very nice. Pee Wee Woo says, spoiler, popcorn is the fifth element.
What? I always knew it wasn't that chick.
I know. Okay. Let's talk about this thing.
All right, go, cameraman. This is your lead. You're going to be.
I don't want to take the lead on the discussion.
Cameraman, this is your idea, and I think you should absolutely take the lead. You and your flickering green camera.
I want the chat to take the lead.
No, you have to. Well, we'll ask some questions, but you at least got to. Okay, does everybody give a little synopsis? So everyone, you got to start with a little synopsis.
You are the star of the show. I am just a supporting character.
It's your world. I just rotate around it.
This is awkward for me.
Go, cameraman. Go. You got this.
Harry says The Fifth Element is a movie. Indeed, it is.
Harry, excellent synopsis.
Thank you. Crit Club over.
All right.
Okay.
So, cameraman, it begins back in the history. Yes?
Yes.
Like 1914 or something.
So every 5,000 years, this orb of darkness called Shadow, Mr. Shadow, I don't know,
It's not Mr. Shadow.
I thought that's
Hello, Mr. Shadow.
I thought that's
and I
what
think isn't it every 3,000 years?
I thought it was 5,000, but it could have been 3,000.
I think it's 3,000. It might be 5,000.
Okay.
Anyway, keep going. Okay.
Anyway, I don't know why we're synopsizing this for people who've already watched the movie. Anyway,
just a quick one.
A ball comes to
a big ball of blobbish, terrifying stuff.
Yeah, for some reason decides that it wants to blot out the Earth. Like it wants to take it out. It wants to remove all life. Thank you. Porthala says, actually, that is what the secretary called him, Mr. Shadow. So
Hello,
if you were
Mr.
watching
Shadow.
the movie, you would have known that.
I just know that anyway, keep going.
Okay. Anyway, so the only way to stop this thing from taking out the Earth is to put these 4 blocks of the elements, so water, earth, wind, and fire,
Yes.
around the 5th element, which originally in the past was this statue. And then moving forward to when it actually happens, it takes place like, I think they said 300 or 400 years after. We fast forward. In a very convenient move, I would say that these little ships were quite aggressive to be able to take out that giant ship. I feel like the people who were protecting the 5th elements weren't that beefy. I feel like they were more like the Iron Giant, just very gentle giants.
Well, they didn't have the potency.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you mean the little
the robot guys.
The dudes with their little tiny heads.
Yeah. Yeah, they got taken out really easily.
Yeah, they were softies.
Is all I'm saying.
I actually agree with that. I felt that was one of the things that I said is if they're so technologically advanced, they can actually take on Mr. Shadow.
Yeah.
Right. In one way or another. If they're that technologically advanced, how come they're getting blown up by 2 little tiny ships right at the beginning?
I guess this would be our first D&D plot point about sometimes you got a railroad.
So let's ask you a question though.
Okay, go ahead.
Are there people in the chat that kind of did that mess with your suspension of disbelief when the really tough, weird-headed, strange dudes who moved really slow and the one guy got stuck in there at the beginning and all that stuff? Did that feel a little bit like they should have been a little more potent?
Kajadora says the opposite of plot armor.
So okay, so
and there is some dissent. Because they are saying that it is a more peaceful group, and yet Paul says they did kill the professor.
They did. That is true.
So, are they peaceful, or is it the sacrificing one to save the many?
Yes, it was fascinating though. Again, this was another problem that I had in the plot. They killed the professor. It seemed like with the little glowing eyes, and he just fell over.
Yeah,
right. That's what happened. And yet the dude with the gun. They just let him stand there with the gun pointing at them, taking a risk with the priest guy walking in front and saying, give up the gun. And all he had to do was go with his little eyeballs and kill the dude.
Clearly his roles were not great.
But see, this is what I'm saying. This is why it's so important that things make fantastical sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you sit there and you question things, right? All right. So anyway, let's not be too hypercritical because it's a pretty good movie.
Oh, I would say it's a very good movie.
Yes.
I just think that first off, it takes place in the 80s. It was released in the 90s. Yes. I don't know when it actually takes place. It's well in the future.
Oh, 2039. Sorry, 2239 or something
yeah.
like that. 22, right? Because it's right before the 5,000
and so
years.
It's a lot to think of, though, trying to come up with this society that's so far in the future.
Yeah, I think they did a great job with it, with the flying cars and the, obviously, cars will drive themselves in the future, and they didn't really think about that. So they had Corbin Dallas as the cab driver and all of that kind of stuff that was going on. Anyway, okay. So it goes forward, right? And we learn that there is a personage who shows up, right, and is reconstructed from just a small bit of their DNA, right?
Yeah. Well, from the statues, I think DNA.
It was the statues. Well, whatever. Yeah. Yes, because it got destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it had this little hand of the statue, and then they have this machine that can 3D print a new person, as Adam put it.
Yes.
And she is the 5th element.
Yes.
And she becomes both the person that everyone needs to help save and protect, but also she's fierce in her own right.
Oh, she's a total badass.
So
did you see her kick those guys' butts on the cruise ship?
So what do you think? What class would you say that she is? I have
monk.
I said monk too.
Without a doubt.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we were aligned on that one.
She even did the Matrix thing.
Yeah. Come at me, bro. Okay. So I think, pretty much everyone's aligned that she's a monk. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I completely agree with that.
Okay.
Now, I got a question, though.
What?
What level monk?
I mean, I think she would be pretty high level.
Oh, she's high level. I think so, too. But let's see what the chat thinks.
Okay. So
she maxed out?
I mean, she did save the entire universe.
But that was because of her. That was because of her fifth element capability.
So she multi-class?
No, because that wasn't really a class. That was just, this was some innate thing that was built within her, right? To be able to be channeled, have the energy all channeled through her to destroy Mr. Shadow.
Okay, so Pee-wee Woo says, in the fifth element, Li Lu would be best represented as a monk with a multi-class build incorporating elements of her fighter and rogue in a D&D context. Her exceptional physical abilities, fighting prowess, and ability to channel the elemental powers align well with these classes.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's pretty good.
Scottish Jeff says level 20 monk.
I think she's maxed out.
Paul says she's a demigod.
Oh, I can't completely disagree with that position on that there may be some elevation beyond the norm with her capabilities and skills. Now, there was a few times where I was frustrated that I felt like she was, stay with what you're going to say. There was a few times I was frustrated when I felt like she could have dealt with some things more aggressively and she didn't. Right?
Well, that's kind of part of the writing and like the railroadingness of it is sometimes, and that's where I think storytelling has taken a big leap in recent years, is that people...
They battle for the fantastical plausibility in reality. Yes, okay. Which is important. But keep what were you just about to read?
Being a perfect being, she was level 20. Perfect being max stats.
Yes.
I won't go into my feminism rant about the whole perfect being thing, but that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, because she was also super hot.
Yeah. Well, he falls in love with her for her perfection, but I would like to have seen more of them. I mean, the whole movie takes place over 2 days. So what are you going to do? So
that's the problem. There wasn't enough time for them to really have the, fall in love tension.
Yeah, it is rough because literally he says, at the very beginning, I want a woman, the perfect woman. He says that at the very beginning. Yes. And then literally 5 minutes later, everyone's like, she's perfect. Yes. She's perfect.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think in today's modern day, they would have had some more time where they would have been together, and he would have had to protect her a little bit more, and there would have been more of a buildup, because I think now, let's be clear, this is not always the case in our modern day movies, because a lot of the Marvel movies, there's no character development whatsoever. But a lot of modern movies spend more time in character development than I think they did in the past in action type movies. Right? They spend a little more time with that. And I do think that kind of spoiled the romance between the two of them.
I still enjoyed it. I still very much enjoyed it. I love the idea of it. Actually, my assistant came in yesterday and he said he feels like it's a chick flick but he said it tongue in cheek, but because the thing that saves the world is love. Yes. Yeah. And I could see that. So,
yeah, but also the one thing on the other side of feminism, yes, she was objectified pretty big time. I mean, she's a beautiful woman and she was objectified a little bit, but she was also very much empowered. Yes. Right. So this is it wasn't the man saves the girl, right? Which is a nice advancement for the 90s and 80s, as we move.
They saved each other.
Yes.
And that is something that I really, really did enjoy.
Yes, it was a partnership, if you want to call it. Right?
Yeah.
But she was really the one who was the hero. Corbin Dallas was the semi-hero, in some ways a little bit of an anti-hero, a little bit. Harry
says it's an action movie. Character development is not critical. I can agree with that.
Yes, absolutely. So, that's very clear.
Sometimes with you have to just keep the things moving.
But that was the interesting thing about it, right? Because it was sort of a little bit crossover, right? It had a pretty significant love story, right? Versus you think about Star Wars, there was some sexual and romantic tensions between Han Solo and Princess Leia and Luke and Princess Leia, right? There was some of that was going on, but it was very minimized. In this situation, there was definitely love and marvelousness going on, right?
Okay. Let's keep going on the story. So along the way, we pick up a lot of fun characters, and I'm going to switch over to showing.
Because that's one of my questions, Cameron, that I want to ask. You're going to show a few characters here.
I am going to show a few characters. Hold on, let me show.
So it begins, of course, by the setup, right? And the setup is that Corbin Dallas wins this, and of course we have the mystery with Emmanuel Zorg. Thank you for putting that up so I could remember. The mystery of Emmanuel Zorg and who is Zorg, and we don't really know all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the mystery kind of gets set up is what is Mr. Shadow and why is Zorg doing what Zorg is doing, and what's going on with Father Vito and how is it saving the world? And there's some kind of mystery that was pretty well set up with this, right? So I did like that quite a bit. All right, let's talk about some characters.
Okay, so we got Lilu, Ruby Rod.
Fantastic.
Clearly my favorite character. I am interested because I kind of remember from a couple weeks ago, Harry was saying that he doesn't think that Ruby was a NPC. He thinks he was he thought he did not think Ruby was an NPC. He thought he was a PC. No, wrong. Switch it. Harry, correct me. So he thought like Ruby Rod would be like
a main.
Not a player
member
character.
Of the party.
No, I think he was saying that he does not.
I mean, Ruby doesn't.
Oh, no, he is saying that he is. Yes, I don't know what Harry's saying. I'm sorry, guys.
Harry,
okay.
I think you're saying, let me make sure. The two main party members, right, are Corbin Dallas and Lilu, right?
Right.
But then Father Vito is also probably a party member. He's just a buffoonerous party member, right?
He gave me my favorite line of the entire, him and his assistant, or his like assistant priest gave me my favorite line of the entire thing, which was like, he was like, "This was my mission. I should have never given it to you." And the assistant goes, "That's right.
That's right." But yes, no, I would absolutely agree that you've got, if you're looking at a party. So who all in the chat kind of thinks that the party is really made up of Lilu, Corbin Dallas, Ruby, Rod, and Father Vito? That would be interesting to see what folks see. And if there's anyone else,
and the one random assistant guy.
Yeah, I think he's an
whose
NPC.
name I can't even remember.
I think he's an NPC.
Okay.
In my mind, that guy, I don't remember his name, the goofball.
I don't know, because he does discover the trick to opening the stones in the end. So
it's true. He did play an important role. So what does the chat think? Who's the party? Right? And then we all agree that that's the party. That's the party.
The five of them.
Yes.
Yeah. But like the assistant priest, his name David. David is the party member who can't make game every week, so he just kind of sits out every once in a while.
And then he shows up and saves everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Anyway, Lilu, the assistant, Corbin, and Ruby Rod.
Yes.
So
I agree. And Corbin is definitely a fighter. Does everybody agree with that? He's not no paladin for sure, right? He's definitely a fighter.
I thought he was a fighter. I also put him as a fighter.
Yes, I put him as a fighter.
So,
and what about Ruby Rod?
A bard. Everyone.
A bard, without a question.
Ruby Rod. Chris Tucker's performance. This is what I'm saying about. This is the thing that I loved about this movie. I just felt everyone committed so hard to these characters, and I mean, that's one of those things where, as an actor, you're probably wondering, is this going to flop or is this going to actually be like really good? Yes. And I think because of the actors' commitment to their characters and their quirks and everything like that, like that's what I think makes it such a cult success, is that the acting is. And the story is great too, but like the acting is tremendous, as you said. Yeah. Okay. Although Randy says Corbin is a ranger.
Oh, interesting, Randy. Interesting. He was pretty good with missile weapons. Can't deny that. Now he could punch somebody in the face though too. Let's be clear. But not as good as Lilu. Lilu did a lot more punching. She took out the whole damn room because she thought the stones were there, right? And this is the whole thing. You suddenly realize, right? You suddenly realize as the diva comes in, right? And she looks down the hall to nothing, right? And the guy who's, hello, welcome, blah, blah, blah. He's all nervous when he meets her and all that stuff. The woman who works for the ship, right? And then the guard grabs and pulls him in. And then, of course, the assistant goes down the hall and Lilu's around the corner, right? And then this is where you get it, that Lilu is a lot more than you thought she was. When she says the stones, she has the stones, she will give them to you after the performance. And that's when all of a sudden you're like, this ain't no just dumb chick with red hair who's in here for eye candy. There's something really big going on here that is way more than, because now you realize she has intent, even though she's really seemed kind of goofy to this point. You following me?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And all of a sudden you had that turn, which was marvelous. Because that turn is a very interesting thing with Lilu right at that moment. And then, of course, you find out in the next scenes, as she whoops up on all those dudes, that she has got some serious badassery, if you want to call it that.
So I have a bunch of notes from the chat. So I want to go back to
let's read some things.
Corbin. Okay. Corbin is being a retired war hero. He should be a fighter rogue.
I didn't think he was so sneaky, but I don't disagree with that. There were definitely some times where he was kind of sneaking around a little bit.
He was Paul says he was a soldier, special forces.
He was that in the movie, I would say. Yes. They even came to him and said, we're putting you back in play, right? That's how he ended up being brought back. And he was brought back. And of course he froze the 3 commanders in the freezer.
So, which would just, okay. So I think that the chat is kind of settling on a multi-class for him. Paul says Rogue Ranger Fighter.
Oh, he's a triple class.
Yeah.
Takes him a long damn time to level. Let me tell you that.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But the nice thing about his background and the way they set it up was it did make sense now why he was pretty capable, right? Because sometimes you end up with heroes that you're kind of like, how does this guy have these skills? Or how does this guy have these skills, right? Which you could have with Lilu, except for they set it up well, right? And I loved the turn with Lilu because you really get the impression at the beginning of the movie, if you haven't watched it before, that she really is not, she's just kind of there, the dumb chick. She can't speak, right? All of that kind of stuff. You don't get a lot of character feeling. I
did not get that feeling from her at all.
She's banging on the doors. You feel like she's
shocked. She just came into existence. Fair. And then on top of that, she speaks very eloquently in whatever other language it is. So to me, like,
you don't think they were setting you up for that turn?
No.
I felt like they did.
But I'm always inclined to think women are badass. So
well, Camerametti, this is your bias.
But no, I don't think so. I think that she had a lot of intelligence behind her eyes. I think that she was saying and then she was learning language. She literally read, please help. Like she was literally learning language as she went. And like, she literally had just been created 15 minutes before.
Completely get it.
Okay.
I just feel like they set you up with that. That's what I felt like they set you up. But that, again, this is the critics' discussion, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has their different opinions.
Okay. Okay. So one thing I thought interesting for this plot point with the diva, so she's going to give her the stones after the performance. And I was like, and Adam was like, oh, why are they just give her the stones now? And then I liked the whole, they were inside of her. Like, I thought that was
the setup.
That was a good twist.
They were setting up the bad guys, right? That was the goal, right? Was to have the bad guys maybe even potentially reveal themselves, right? Although if that was the intent, they definitely, they got surprised in the quarters, right? They got surprised because the bad guys come in, a couple of people die in that circumstance, right? And then Lilu comes in and deals with that situation. Quite dramatically.
So,
what's the chat saying? Got some more stuff?
Okay, I got stuff still about Corbin. We're still deciding. Okay, so like Rangers, but not so sure on it. He was a fighter with a lot of skills and weapons due to training, and as a special forces style soldier, he developed the stealth skills as a thief. Harry says she didn't speak English and needed to learn it. Perthala says Lilu was a monk with a high intelligence, which allowed her to problem solve. Paul says the divine language, best way to secure the stones, meaning inside the diva.
Yes. That was, I thought that was a marvelous thing because you thought those guys were going to get the stones, right? Because old boy comes in.
I was really, one of the things I actually liked about the plot was that I liked this whole tension between Zorg and whatever these guys are.
Yeah, I don't know their names. I don't remember their names. Does anybody actually know what? I could look it up on Wikipedia. I just didn't take down their notes.
It's whatever that race was. I really liked that tension, and I liked the fact that they finished each other off in the end. Like, I thought that was in terms
poetic
of like
justice.
Well, yeah, and in terms of like a campaign setting, like sometimes the main point, like it's sometimes you have to have things along the way. You have to have tension along the way. You have to have what am I thinking? What is the word I'm looking for?
You have to have action. You have to have advancement of the plot. All of those things.
Yeah,
right?
or things. Why can I not think of the freaking word that I'm trying to think of?
Anticlimaxes.
No, I'm trying to think of like objects along the road, or like whatever. It doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying.
Impediments.
Yes, things like that, of that nature. There's a word for it, like a plot term for it that I am just not pulling out of my head. Okay. Anyway, obstacles. Thank you, Parthalis. Thank you. Obstacles.
Notice she didn't call you portholus. You see that, Rick? When you come through for her, she doesn't give you the insult.
Anyway, thank you. Obstacles. Why was that so hard? Okay. Anyway, all that to say, but sometimes that's not the main point of the story that you're trying to tell. Like, you want to create that tension for your players, but sometimes it's okay to have other things happen that help them then refocus on what the main point. And the main point of this is that those 4 blocks need
critically important.
Yeah, need to get.
And you think Zorg's got them.
Yeah.
Right? And then he opens it up and then he shuts it down. He goes, "Where are the stones?" Of course, the phone call when he talks to Dr. Shadow or Mr. Shadow or whatever his name is. I mean, the phone call is kind of weird because he starts bleeding from the middle of his head. It's
okay.
Kind of weird.
Paula and Pee Wee Woo have come through with us. They're Mangalores.
Oh, well done.
Mangalore mercenaries.
Mangalore mercenaries.
Thank you.
And so were they hired? And this was interesting because it feels like they were actually in the employ, not of Zorg, but in the employ of Shadow.
I did not get that at all.
So you think it was all Zorg?
I think they were mercenaries hired by Zorg, and
then why does he kill so many of them right at the beginning?
Because he's so mad because they didn't get his.
They didn't.
He kills anyone who lets him down. His one thing is he hates being let down by people.
Because he did kill his assistant.
So, yeah, as well. So so I think that they are totally mercenaries. I did like the scene where he was so terrified of the phone call from Mr. Shadow. Yeah. I thought that added a layer of depth to his character that was very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, what about Father Vito Cornelius? Like level and class for him.
He's kind of a buffoon. I think he's a sage, but that's all I give him credit for. I mean, he does bop somebody in the I don't know.
I think he's like I
zero level sage.
I put him as if there was magic, because like magic doesn't really necessarily exist in this world. If there was magic, I would make him a wizard, like an intelligence-based.
See, I lean more
spellcaster.
They called him a priest, and I lean more to a sage because it was really knowledge, which was the basis of his character. But let's see what the chat says.
I've never heard of sage as a D&D class.
It's not I mean, it is technically a profession, right? It's sort of a profession. But, because he's a non-player character, so he doesn't necessarily have to be a class at all. But let's see what the chat says.
Paul says he's a scholar.
Yeah, scholars. That's a good one. Yes, very much so.
So,
I did not get the.
So maybe he doesn't really fit into any D&D class, but he could be like an archetype or.
Yeah, honestly, as we're talking about this, that is one of the things long ago we all loved about Warhammer Fantasy Role. Which was very innovative when it first came out. It did not catch a whole lot of, it did not catch D&D by any stretch of the imagination. It kind of failed, actually. But what we loved was the character progression, because you literally could start out as you would in life, as a rat catcher or an innkeeper or a crafts person who makes wagon wheels or whatever, whatever it happened. And then you progressed, and then you began to move into other things, and you could adjust your professions, and you had percentages based on your advancement. And it was a really, really nice. We couldn't make it work with D&D, or we would have. But we thought it was a much more realistic and much more plausible sort of idea, rather than you're just a first level rogue, right? And we kind of like that. Again, it's a game, so you overlook things.
I got things from the chat.
Go.
Okay. Father Cornelius is an NPC, scholar, cleric, rogue mastermind, expert in astral phenomena, probably level 15 cleric / sage. He does heal. So her.
He does heal her.
So right. Dennis, sage historian.
He does heal her. I forgot that. You're absolutely right. Interesting.
So Pee Wee Woo also says priest and cleric. So cleric, I think, would probably fit him pretty well. So, and he, especially with his role as a spiritual leader, as Pee Wee Woo says, So, okay, I think we could probably agree on that. So,
okay. And then one of my favorite very bit part characters was Major Iceborg. I thought she was magnificent.
I loved both. I loved the general, and I loved
Iceborg were both great.
I thought they were like they didn't have a lot to do, but like every time they were on screen, I felt like they really sold their character. So,
Yes. And
although I think she was only on screen like once or twice.
only
so.
a couple times before
Yeah.
they got froze, right?
Yeah.
They got frozen.
I turned to Adam and goes, did he just kill them? And I was happy to see that they were not frozen.
They were only semi-froze.
Yeah.
The president wasn't bad too. What's his name in real life? Scroll down or scroll up a little bit there. Down.
Sorry, what am I looking for?
The president, right there. Is scroll.
Oh,
there you go.
Tommy.
Yes, Tommy. Yes, Tommy Lister. Yes, that's right.
I thought he did a great job.
Oh, he was great, right?
So,
oh, look, you get to be the tawdry girl. you don't get a name. You get to be the tawdry girl. Yes,
yeah,
that's on my resume is. I was a tawdry girl once, Cameramandy.
When did Cornelius heal Lilu? I believe like when she was brought back to his apartment.
Correct.
After she had fallen through the.
It wasn't magical, right? It was.
No.
It was through normal means, if you want to call them. But still, he did do that.
Someone mentioned the thug with the great hat. The great hat. Is that at the beginning of the movie when the guy comes to like the tweaker comes to Rob?
Oh yes, right he's got to be down there. Scroll down, right?
Okay, let's see her.
Give me the cash. Give me the cash.
Where? I mean, I don't know. I don't see him.
Well, you're not going to see his hat. You have to see if you can find his face.
I don't know if I could just like.
The problem is you won't. Oh, it might be Flying Cop 3. Does anybody on there see the one who FD man?
You know, I watched this great podcast. Amy Poehler's doing a podcast now, and she had the creator of Parks and Recreation on, and he was talking about how every single character that ever exists in any of his shows always has a character name because of this very reason.
Yes.
Because you come in as an actor and you perform in these things, and then you get listed as VIP attendant or
you need a
steward, VIP stewardess number 2, you know.
So scroll down a little further. Scroll down because I think I know who it is. Scroll down a little further. I remember Mr. Kim. That was pretty funny because you thought Dallas was out eating and the guys pulled up to his little pod. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. I think it's right there. Aziz. I think Aziz.
No, Aziz was the kid with the light.
Oh,
Aziz Light.
You're right. Light, Aziz. Light.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So anyway,
scroll down a little further.
We're getting into the weeds on this guy.
That kid had a lesser part than the guy at the beginning with his goofy hat. Does anybody know?
Anyway, okay. Special items. What special items do you think they
beyond
got
the
way?
Stones? It's the most obvious, right? And beyond her, right, is the most obvious. What do we think?
Obviously he got a lot of cool weapons.
Oh yeah. Yes. Although actually the baddest weapon I thought in the whole movie was the one that Zorg was selling to them. He had a crate of them, which had all those different capabilities, the net that would fire and the flamethrower, and it like had everything, right? The whole damn thing could do everything. And then of course he killed them all because he said a real warrior would have asked about the red button.
As Jeff says, the character in The Fifth Element with the big hat is a mugger that Corbin Dallas encounters in the apartment building. The mugger is played by actor Mathayo Kazovitz.
Wow. I don't think Mathayo Kazovitz is even on there.
So I don't know. This is just Google. So it doesn't have the full credits. Probably.
Google.
It's just Google. What the heck?
I feel like Mathayo Kazovitz got screwed.
Okay. So what else do we got?
I mean, you got the kid who doesn't say anything and just sits there holding this the light thing, and you don't get the guy at the beginning who actually has a line. That's not fair.
Multi-pass minor artifact.
Ooh,
multipass.
And that was pretty funny because she kept saying multipass.
Yeah.
There was some fun there.
People agree that the hat is a special item.
Yes.
Zorg's
-6 on charisma because you look like a dork.
Zorg's SF1. So is that or ZF1? So I'm guessing that's the gun. With all the
ZF1. Yes, I think that's correct.
They actually spent a lot of time setting that up. That was interesting to me.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time showing off that gun.
Yes.
Whoever created that gun was very proud and wanted that in the in the script.
Yeah, well, but I think it played a part because they were using it when they were assaulting the cruise ship and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, we go forward, right? And
Phoebe Wu sent me this picture so that way.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love our chat. I love our people. You people are marvelous. You are marvelous. So,
hey, we're at 11.
Oh, we got to go.
Yeah.
All right, so listen. So this is important. So let's finish this off, right? So the whole thing comes down to getting those 4 stones back there. And of course, right at the end, when we think it's all going to go to hell in a handbasket, Mr. Shadow, right, is going to come down and suck the earth into his gullet. Does he have a gullet? Then the 5th element is engaged in the center, and and there goes old Mr. Shadow.
Porthalis is asking what the next movie is.
What do you want to be the next movie?
Well, we got to do a poll if we're going to do it. If we're going to do it again, we need to get some feedback first.
But yes, first of all, did you like this? Because we're not going to do it every week, right? No. We're not going to do it every week.
I'm kind of thinking once a month might be more, like I was originally, but when I originally thought of this, I wanted it more to be like a 15-minute segment, and this is more like a half an hour segment.
Yeah, but it's fun for people to be able to, and we want to be able to have the chat have input and listen to what they got to say and all that stuff. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
If people liked it, so if you liked it, please let us know, and you can do it right now in the chat and say yes, do it again every once a month. That sounds good. If you'd like to be less, maybe once every 6 weeks. Don't forget we're going to restart Creative Goo, though I really want to talk to you about something, Harry. I got an idea, so I'm going to call you on the phone.
Okay.
You and me and Mandy have a little chat.
I have another question for people.
Yes.
Our 200th anniversary, our 200th episode is coming up, and this was our 197th one.
Wow, so if we could align the stars, the treasure of Boo Boo
Oh my God.
could also be awarded on our 200th anniversary.
Sure.
I might even add to the treasure.
Okay, everyone agrees once a month is good for this kind of thing.
And it was fun. It was enjoyable for the chat. Something that was...
So Harry says, it was fun discussion. I would have preferred talking about the plot, how to use the story for building or running adventures.
That's a good idea, Harry.
So, yes. So...
Well, we got a couple minutes. We're not quite out of here, right?
Yeah.
So if you were going to take that, so okay, chat. So let's think about this, right? Because Harry's absolutely right. This happens a lot for me, right? When I think back upon one of my most favorite creations, which was the original Blund, right? It was the original Blund long ago. And I created this idea that it was really inspired sort of by the Magnificent Seven, because there's a town that's totally taken over by the evil bad guys. And there's some good people in that town, but they're totally being stepped upon. And the party has to come in there. But the difference is it's not because the bad guys are coming, it's the bad guys are already there. And so I adjusted that to more of an infiltration kind of a thing, where they actually had to be posed as the bad guys themselves. And so that was a wonderful setup, and it was a wonderful thing. But definitely the original Blund and the Blund that you will see in the materials for Gazengax was inspired by the Magnificent Seven. So I completely agree with Harry. There is so much inspiration that you could take, and this is a great sort of climactic tale. I mean, you're talking about a really big bad evil guy that's going to destroy the world, and love the idea that actually, there's a potential for sacrifice of a player and all that kind of stuff that goes on like this. And I think it's pretty good. So, I mean, Harry, in this regard, and the rest of you, would that be something we kind of delve into a little bit more when we do this in the future? Is the application? Let us know.
I have an idea of what needs to happen if we're going to do this again, which is like better organized points, and then like a slideshow that we could do.
I think we should do a slideshow.
Yeah,
I would love to do that
with organized points, and then we can discuss.
It makes it more interesting to see pictures. And again, I'm really not concerned about this. We're doing a media reporting. We're talking about the things. And I really don't want to do any movies that we don't like. I really want to do movies that generally people are going to like. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And someday I do want to do the Lord of the Rings. I just don't want to do it yet.
Well, we kind of already done it before.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really do it.
Okay, sounds good.
Really I think it'd be a great fun to do that.
I will put a poll up for the next one.
And
but please send us suggestions if we're going to do this again. So yeah.
But I do think, Cameramandy, the one thing that did come out of the terrible Boo Boo Bon promotional flop is the hooligans. I really like the hooligans.
I was too busy.
You don't even know about the hooligans?
No, I'm sorry. I was too busy reading Paul's funny, this was Porthalis's funny. He said, okay, can we cut open Alphinius and store some dice in him? Okay, sorry. What was what did you say again?
Some really big dice.
I know, right? What were you saying?
So I was talking about, goodness gracious, what was I saying?
The hooligans.
Oh, the hooligans. Yes. So the Blue Shine Archipelago, right?
Oh my God. Are we back to Blue Shine?
The Blue Shine Archipelago, which
Uh-huh.
I'm still going to do this with Geeky Hoodie. We are going to do the Highland.
Oh, okay. This is like a serious thing.
And,
Okay.
and the hooligans
Okay.
are these little sort of tropical people.
Oh, the green people.
The little green people.
Okay.
And I think they're cute, and I think they're fun, and I think we can do a lot with them.
Okay.
So anyway, I got it. Not yet. We're gonna, we got enough races we're working with right now. Of course, the Infernathé are coming out along with Guys and Gals, which I'm really excited because the lore of the Infernathé is spectacular. So anyway, we'll see what we do with the hooligans because these are just artworks I pulled, right? I'm going to actually have them sort of concepted by probably Benjo.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do the same thing we did with some of the other races where the chat.
How did we get on the hooligans?
Because we talked about doing other things we were doing and, and the promotion and all of that stuff. And I said, what are the things that came out of it? Anyway, we can go. We can let everybody go.
You were so funny.
How come you aren't on the screen with me?
Oh, because, thank you all for joining us.
Yes. Again, let us know. Give us good feedback. Harry, that was great feedback. If
Yes.
you got other feedback, let us know if you like this thing. We've got some other innovations we're going to bring to Goo Morning out as we move to past our 200th anniversary.
Oh my goodness.
Camera Mendy. I feel like we need to do like at the 200th anniversary, we need to show a picture of you and me when we started.
I didn't even get my point out about the 200th.
Oh.
I was going to ask, I was thinking about doing a Wheel of Shenanigans for our 200th.
We haven't done that. People like that.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Wheel of Shenanigans for...
Yes. It might also be fun to have a few guests on, just real bit parts, and maybe we do.
Let's not overcomplicate it because it is right before Gen Con. So we're going to...
Maybe we do the 200th celebration
after Gen Con. Maybe that's what we do. Yeah. So
that might be the right move. Then we can plan it out really nice. And yes, it'll be the 205th, but it'll really be celebrating our 200th. Right?
I appreciate that. Yeah.
That might be the right move.
Okay.
All right. So that's all we got.
We'll bring back bingo for the 200th for sure.
Oh, people love the bingo.
So, all right.
Camera Mandy, we need to do that because people love the bingo.
I know.
They really did love the bingo.
I agree, but Lawrence just ditched us. So
Ditched us. Left us in the dust. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining us again today. Hope you like this thing. Let us know. We've got some other things coming. Harry, I'll call you about Creative Goo. Thanks to all of you who join us pretty regularly and hang out with us and make our day. We wish you it's a beautiful day out here in Colorado. We're looking forward to hanging out in the sun a little bit. Yes, Camera Mandy?
Absolutely.
May all your adventures be sticky, friends. Bye-bye now.